Anyway, we are talking about freedom, and I don't know how much of freedom Sri Lanka has. I learned very recently that the amount of money that they have spent for the Independence Day celebration this year far exceeds the amount that was spent in 2022. That's sad because when a country doesn't have so much of resources, when a country is suffering because people don't have much to eat, and I don't know how people, go to the extent, especially the leaders, go to the extent of increasing their expenditure for inaugurating independence. Independence is for the people, not for the rulers. Independence is something valuable for the people because we have the independence to work, we have the independence of speech, we should have the independence and the right to move around and talk about what we believe in, we have the independence to education, we have the independence to do any kind of work that we like. We have the independence to believe in any religion that we like. But unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, all those things are in a way, they are underdeveloped at the moment. They are underdeveloped not because of any other reason, because the rulers of the nation stole the money that belongs to the people. And so today, we don't have any reason to inaugurate independence. Not that we don't love our country, but because we do not have the freedom or we do not have the ability to enjoy the country that we are born to. In fact, the expenses for the Independence Day says that most of the money was spent on fuel. Now, when I talk about fuel, the petrol and the diesel, I learn and I experience myself whenever I go and pump petrol to my vehicle, and within a few minutes of driving around, the amount of fuel that is being burned is so huge, and it looks like that the petrol that we are bringing to Sri Lanka is of poor quality. Sadly, it says it's 95 octane, it says it's 92 octane, but when we really travel around in the vehicle, we realize that the petrol is getting burnt very quickly, and also a black smoke tends to come from the exhaust pipe, which shows that the quality of the fuel that is being brought to Sri Lanka is of poor quality. So it may be the government is trying hard to make ends meet and they are bringing the poor quality petrol, but they should tell the people the truth. Why are the petrol sheds not being checked whether it is really 95 or whether it's really 92 or is it 90? I remember a long time ago, we came up with this strategy that because the children were falling sick and the children were getting a lot of lung cancer, we decided with the health authorities that no one should use leaded petrol, heavily leaded petrol, because that led to the sicknesses that the children were suffering from. Unfortunately, if we are bringing highly leaded petrol now, that means not so purified petrol, then we are putting all the people around us in danger because it could jeopardize the health of the people. Now, unfortunately, there's no one we can talk to. The Consumer Affairs Authority is very silent. They're not even going and checking the boutiques. Now, if you really look at it, there are some shops which are selling even bread at a particular price and other shops are selling it at a different price. So each shop owner can sell to the amount that they wishes to. There's no fixed price. So the Consumer Affairs Authority is not doing anything about it. And no one is actually even forcing the Consumer Affairs Authority to ensure that they are looking after the welfare of the consumer. So the question is, even if the petrol is of poor quality, even if the shop holders are selling things at a high price, whom do we tell these things to? Where is the freedom for the people of this country? Now that the election is coming, and I hope and pray that those who are contesting will speak about these things, because it's so relevant, it's so important. And I know that there are a lot of people who are in part of the Aragale or the struggle, they are also contesting. And I'm happy that some of the very educated people from this Aragale who are part of the struggle are actually contesting, and people should vote for them. But there are also some people I see very often on television who say that they were part of the struggle, and I have never seen them in my life being part of the struggle. So don't use the struggle just to get a vote. Important is the struggle was the most important thing that the Sri Lankans did. They came together because they wanted to change this country. And I want the people to remember that the struggle is something very beautiful for the history. People came together. They didn't have anything at the back of their mind. They went on the struggle in order to change the country. So people should respect that. And those who are contesting, please don't use the word struggle all the time when you are not part of it, because that's a very bad thing. Anyway, at the end of the day, what we can see in Sri Lanka is that the rights of the people are not met. And I don't know whom people would vote for. Today I see Gotabe is also walking around very happily. Nobody is pointing fingers at him. He seems to be very happy. He seems to be present in very important places. But nobody's. He was also in the Gangarama Perera. So isn't there anybody who wants to say something to him? I haven't seen him personally. If I had seen him, I would have said him something. But what about the people who see him, at petrol sheds, he's at weddings, he's at parties? Don't people say anything to him? Even the members of the opposition, they don't seem to say anything to him. They seem to be very friendly with him. So this is what happens to Sri Lanka. We forget very easily, and then we go back to where we were. So I don't know whether the election is going to make a big change, because if this is the way we are going to go on, and we know at the moment those parties who have a lot of money, they are giving a lot of incentives to the people. And we know Sri Lankans can be bought over very easily. Whether it's a poor Sri Lankan, whether it's a middle class Sri Lankan, whether it's a higher up Sri Lankan, they all can be bought over very easily. This is a weakness of the Sri Lankans. It's in our genes, and we need to change that. We need to think of the country. Country needs a change, a good change, a healthy change. But vote for the right people. Don't vote for people just because they talk well. Vote for educated, vote for the people who can do something for this country. I am not contesting in the election, so I'm not asking you to vote for me because I'm not contesting. But my job right now is to educate you so that we will definitely have a good country. After the great struggle, let's build a good country, and that's what we should strive for. So don't forget again, when you pump petrol from the petrol shed, see whether your petrol is burning very fast. Complain. Make sure that the government has something to say, an explanation as to why the petrol is of such low, bad quality, even when we are paying so much money. So, all the very best to you as you struggle to vote, as you decide to vote, and I hope that you will vote well. And I always say, make us go on. Thank you.